Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio, where we are here to nourish our souls. I am Norah, the host of this program. Thoughts by Joanna, to Angelis, and our beloved Divaldo Franco. This is a worth a read, beautiful book. And as I'm sharing the screen, let us remind ourselves that we are really expanding our vision and even our experience on love, and Joanna is so poetic and so beautiful and so down to earth and real as she's given us these beautiful messages. So today's, it says there are neglected currencies that can become very valuable, such as friendly hospitality, kindness, a generous gesture, partaking in another person's suffering, or an amiable smile. They cost nothing, yet at the same time, they are worth more than money. And this amazing and beautiful and important reminder is something that sometimes when we know messages, we can take them for granted. Oh, I already know, right? But sometimes, friends, if the lessons keep repeating, if we keep getting these messages, it's because as a collective and individually, we still not there. We're not there. Um, and sometimes it's not easy when we're surrounded by social media. We're surrounded by so many things around us that are telling us otherwise sometimes, right? Changing our priorities and making material things appear more valuable than the things that cost nothing. And yet, at the end of the day, it's what we take with us. And it's so beautiful because even as a teacher, sometimes as I listen to my students and hear their needs, or even stories of parents and experiences, most of their best memories are with family time, things that take nothing. It's not even about getting the most expensive phone or shoes, and it really is this. So we know that this is something that is important for us to grow. But what's interesting now, looking at this more closely, this idea of a neglected currency, right? If we were to look at currency, and there are different ways for us to visualize currency, maybe like a frequency, like an energy, right? And for us to start thinking about this, where are we giving our energy? Because if we've already established, right, that the real values in life is to be of charity, it's to give. That means we have to now see the science perspective of this, right? Visualizing around ourselves like this field of energy, kind of in this picture. And how are we putting forth the energy? And there's this beautiful, it's a movie, but it's also it's based off of a book, The Celestine Prophecy, and it's based on, it's a fiction book, but it is so real when we really get down to how energies connect. If we see on this picture here on the right, we see this gentleman kind of looking at the friend, and we see two different colors, and it's almost like she's protecting herself, because instead of him giving that energy, he's trying to take it away, me, right? But if we look over here to the left hand side, now it's the same gentleman here with a friend here, and look at how beautiful that energy is. It's a great visual for us, and in the movie we can even see the movements of it. So imagine ourselves in every interaction that we have with others, in our relationships, at home, at work, at school, even with strangers, quote unquote, right? And we start to kind of give these energies. When it's reciprocal, it is so beautiful. And this is the intention that God has for us, that we raise the vibrations of this planet. And the way to do that is thinking about it from this perspective, and the balance that we need to have, right? And of course, we know that the most valuable things are those that have no monetary value. the model of the on top of everything, of course, is Jesus. In the Bible, John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life." So we start to see, and Jesus came to model this for us. He could have had anything he wanted, and yet he came and was really a brother, an example of love, compassion, charity, and he was always giving. And we read all his, from the Bible and even from different parts of Spiritism, right? And Jesus in the home, we get a more intimate connection with him. The stories from that have been given to us, and it's so beautiful to really see that he gives time. He teaches the disciples. He and in a lot of those verses there, friends, you can see he's smiling. He listens. He never. He just is. It's a beautiful balance, and those things are so beautiful. And we are invited to remind ourselves, right? Hey, it's okay if sometimes, we might not have the best of the best, but we have just what we need. Let's focus on this because Jesus is our model, right? And we know in Spiritism, in the Gospel according to Spiritism, without charity, there is no salvation. It says all of Jesus' morals are summed up in charity and humility. That is, in the two virtues, contrary to selfishness and pride. And those two words there, selfishness and pride, those are lower vibrational. Those are the ones that we want to start transforming, right? Getting rid of those shadows, as Joanna also in another book of gratitude, she gives us this thing that we have shadows and we have to work through those, and the way we can transform them is through charity. And this is a beautiful statement. According to Paul, he says, "So my friends, apply yourself to grasping its profound meaning and consequences, and to discovering for yourselves all its applications. Submit all your actions to the test of charity, and your conscience will respond to you. Not only will it help you to avoid practicing evil, but it will lead you to practice the good. For not to have a negative virtue is not enough. It is necessary to have an active virtue." So we are invited, need to be active. We have to be moving, and we know that every single day of our lives, on a daily basis, we have opportunities to really practice charity and to put forth these currencies that Joanna says, and to do it with love. Right? Because love is worthy. Love is worth it all. And it's so beautiful for us to really think about this, process it. How many times a day are we doing this, right? And how we can each individually figure these things out in our life, because we all have such different experiences. So what might work for me, it could be slightly different for someone else. But if it needs to be in that frequency of love, that's where it is. Making sure our priorities are where they need to be, and always listening to our heart, because right there, it's a beautiful energy point, right? As Andre Luis talks about those energy centers, and the heart is so special, and we're here. It's all the most valuable thing, and with others. Dear friends, that is today's lesson. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, for watching the other amazing programs here at Kardec Radio. And we thank God and we thank the mentors for such a beautiful day whenever we're listening to this. And thank you so much. We'll see each other next week, same place, same time. God bless you. Bye-bye.